Hello again, it's your internet dad sharing life lessons that I offered my own sons in the hope that it'll help you. Don't forget, if you like this series, we send out videos twice a week. Become a subscriber and you won't miss any. Today's title is Fine Dining 12 Rules. Now the fine dining I'm talking about is inviting your date, just the two of you, to a upmarket French or Italian restaurant. And this can be very intimidating for you the first time you do it, but the more times you do it, the easier it gets. The first of my 12 rules is visit the restaurant ahead of time, day before, 2 days before, or whatever. Take a look at the menu, the wine list, check where the tables are, and check where the restrooms are. You certainly don't want to be seated next to them. You'll work out where you'd like to be when you come. Rule number 2 is, if you can't visit the restaurant yourself, go on their website and check out particularly the menu. Now there are some very expensive Italian and French restaurants that don't have the menu in English. And this can be certainly intimidating. But once you've got that menu on your laptop, you can use Google Translate and work out what the dishes mean. Memorize them. There'll only be 8 or 9 of them, and you certainly will impress your date if you're able to explain to her what they are. Rule number 3, dress properly. I have a series called Dress for Success as part of these videos, and the issue that I always emphasize is people treat you to a great degree the way you dress. If you dress scruffy, the service will be scruffy. If this is a really fine restaurant, it's worthwhile dressing up, make the extra effort. If you have to meet your date at the restaurant, for goodness sake, get there early. Never ever have your date waiting around in a public place. It's incredibly rude. A better version is to pick them up at their apartment or at their place of work. But if you have to meet in the restaurant, get there early. When you get there, you've made the reservation, they're expecting you, but get there on time. Usually popular restaurants may only hold your reservation for 30 minutes. And if you come an hour late, the table is gone. If it's a busy restaurant, your date is over. You'll be invited to eat at the bar, which is not the same thing. Rule number 6, if your date wants a drink, that's fine, order one for her. But remember, if you're going to be ordering a full bottle of wine, that's the equivalent of at least 4 glasses. And so if you're ordering a full bottle, you might not want extra drinks. At this point, both of you will look at the choices on the menu, and there may be specials, daily specials at the restaurant, at that restaurant that night, and listen to them too. But remember, you've done your homework, so you know what you'd like, and you're not going to waste a lot of time doing that. When you're looking at the menu, ask your date what she wants as a main course. Don't go to the appetizer. The main course is going to decide which wine you order, and it'll also cover what appetizer you may choose. A good argument here is for variety. If you and your date order a steak, perhaps you should have a fish appetizer, and vice versa. Based on those choices, you can then order the wine. Now, if you're both having fish or poultry, you might want to go for a light white wine. If you're both ordering a steak, then you want a heavier, more robust red. But you don't have to go that way. If you prefer something lighter, a good wine to choose is Beaujolais Village. It's light red wine. It's not a vintage wine, but it's a good halfway house if you have mixed main courses. When the waiter brings the wine, he'll show you the wine label. Make sure that you're getting the wine that you ordered. And the year, if it's a vintage year, he'll ask you if you want it open, you say yes. He will then pour a small amount of wine into your glass. You're the host. You're going to make sure everything works, and you're going to sample the wine. Don't rush it. Take your time. Make sure that it tastes pleasant, it's what you expect, and then indicate that the other glasses should be filled. Now, in terms of which one you order, rule number 8 is don't ever order the cheapest wine on the wine list. There's nothing wrong with it, but just as a policy, don't do it. But don't go very far up the price structure either. Remember, a good rule of thumb is that the markup on wines in restaurants is about 100% over a liquor store, what you would pay in a wine shop. So if you have a really expensive wine, it's going to be a really expensive meal. So go easy on yourself. Moving on, the next rule is when you get the dessert, it's perfectly good to acceptable to share the dessert. It's a fun way to do it. You just ask for the dessert and 2 forks, and they'll bring two plates. At that time, they'll also offer you tea or coffee. You may want after dinner drinks, but it's not necessary. And if both of you have polished off a full bottle of wine, you won't need it. Now, the best time to pay the bill is when your date gets up to go to the ladies' room, which they frequently will do, out of politeness. This means that she's not there when you pay the bill, which is the best way of doing it. Ask for the bill and plan to tip 20%. The easy way to remember that is whatever the total is, double it and move the decimal point. By that I mean, if the meal was $80, you double it to 160 and move the decimal point one place, and you got $16. That's what you should tip and add on to the bill on your credit card charge. That should end your dinner on a high note, but do remember as you leave, have some single dollars in your possession if you've used a hat check, so you're not fumbling around. Tip $1 or $2 per item. That means hat and coat each. I'm hoping that these 11 rules will have helped you. There is a 12th one, and that is, for goodness sake, just relax and enjoy yourself. Have fun. I hope you enjoyed this and found it useful. Remember, if you have a friend that you think this could be useful for, by all means, share the link. But enjoy, and see you next time.